welcome back. What we'll be talking about here is work insurance, specifically what it is, how it works, how we handle it, and why, and how that all applies into the survey. So let me start out by saying this. Whatever life insurance people have through work, it's very common that people have some kind of life insurance through work. But whatever life insurance people have through work, it's always term insurance. It's always term insurance. You're going to get some people that might disagree with you here or there. Trust me, it is always term insurance. All right. The way it works is they're covered for that life insurance while they're working for their company. Now, if something were to happen to them while they're working, it's obviously going to pay out. However, when they leave the company, either they aren't going to have it at all, or they're going to be able to keep it or keep part of it. Now, if they keep part of it or keep all of it, it doesn't really matter. It works the same exact way. They're going from a group plan to an individual plan. And on top of that, they're doing that at the age that they left their company, not the age that they started with the company. This is very important. So it's by definition term insurance. Now, when it comes to actually handling insurance through work and what people have, it's pretty much a little decision tree. If they say yes, you do this. If they say no, you do this. Now, I'll go through that with you just so it makes more sense. So, Joe, let me ask you, do you have any life insurance through your job? You do. Okay, perfect. Do you know how much you have? No, you don't? All right. Let me ask you this, Joe. Do you pay for your life insurance through work? You don't. Okay. Perfect. So you have the 20,000, the base 20,000 that everybody has. Now, Mary, same question. Do you have any life insurance through work? You do? Perfect. And do you know how much you have? No, you don't? Not a big deal. Same question, Mary. Do you pay for your life insurance through your job, or is it for free? You do pay for it. Perfect. So you have twice your salary then. All right. So let's break that down a little bit. So it's really easy. If someone has insurance through work, you're going to ask them, do you have any life insurance through their job? And then naturally, the next question is, how much do you have? If they know the answer, gang, that's pretty simple. Type it in. Now, if they don't know the answer, believe it or not, it's fairly common. People know that they have some kind of life insurance for their jobs, but they don't really know how much. So the next thing you want to ask them is, are they paying for that? Now, what they are paying does not matter at all, because group insurance pretty much all works the same way. What they're paying doesn't matter at all. If they are not paying for it, then they're getting whatever their base rate is, the base coverage for their group plan, which is always right around 20,000. If they are paying for it, it's always a multiplier of their salary. It's anything from like 1 year to 5 years or maybe a little bit more. Now, what you need to understand is people don't think about insurance until they think about insurance. This is why they don't remember how much insurance they have through their jobs to begin with, is because they haven't thought about it in however many years. They set it up years ago and then they haven't looked at it since. So this is important because with the survey, the needs analysis, the IRTs and closing, everything needs to be normal, part of the plan, and positive. On top of that, you need to be confident and you need to be competent. So what that means is you need to sound like you know what you're talking about, and you also need to know what you're talking about. So the reason that we say 2 years is because the majority of people usually pick something right in that middle range, somewhere between 1 and 3 years. So we split the difference and say 2. Now, this is important. Let's say that you're sitting with somebody and they have insurance for their jobs, they know that they're paying for it, but they don't really know how much, and you leave that as a gray area, and you don't really put anything in there. First of all, the computer's going to recommend something that is inaccurate because you're not putting in any data to work with, so you probably left it at 0. Secondly, what's going to happen is you're going to get, I want to think about it, at the end of your presentation, and you're not going to make an enrollment. Now, for you, that's not an enrollment, but let's put it on for the client how it is for them. Let's say something happens to that person and they pass away. Now, remember, insurance is one of those things that people don't really think about it until they're in the moment thinking about it. So I promise you, once they got off the Zoom call with you, they didn't think about it again. This person now passes away, and maybe they only have a year's worth of their salary protected. And they didn't make a decision because they wanted to see how much they had through work, when you could have filled that gap if you'd put something accurate in there. Now, on the other side, let's say that you get them to say, all right, you tell them they have 2 years worth of their income protected, And maybe in reality, they only have 1 year worth of their income protected. All right. Same exact situation plays out, except you make the enrollment this time because you've got a concrete black and white answer. It's not gray. They do pass away. What happens is they look into their work coverage, and it wasn't 2 years, it was only one. So they get the payout from their employer for 1 year of their insurance, but you filled the gap to get them up to approximately 5 years, which would be meaning that you added 3 years of coverage for their income. The reality is, all in total, they only have 4 years instead of 5. But because you got a concrete, you made a concrete decision with them, you got a black and white answer and helped push them kind of understanding that and slide that along, they made a decision with you, and now they have those extra 3 years that they would never have had you left it very gray, where there's all this time to think about this and forget. So work insurance and how you handle it is very important, and remember this when you're going through it. It's really simple. Do you have insurance through work? Perfect. If you do, how much do you have? If they don't know, you're going to ask them next, do they pay for it? If they don't pay for it, it's $20,000. If they do pay for it, it's twice their salary. Just do the math and type it in. Twice their annual salary. All right? Make sure you're practicing this, gang. Ask your managers for help, and do this a few times. I can't stress enough the importance of competence when it comes going through the survey. You really need to know what you're doing here because it's really where you make yourself. See you in the next one.